Hello dear friends, I bring greetings to you from my wonderful Creator and Savior, Jesus Christ, the one that has made it possible for me to be able to put this together for your benefits, for our mutual benefits. Welcome to my channel. In Exodus 35:35, we are told that God gave his children special skills, and these skills include being an engraver. There were designers among them, there were embroiderers, and they all use these talents very well and they excelled. So today we are going to use the talent God has given to us as craftsmen and women, and together we are going to make this beautiful beret. You can see it on my head. You can see how beautiful it is. So get ready, get your tools, and let's get started. The interesting part is that it can be made in various colors of your liking, colors that you choose, colors that your friends will love. And you can also decide to make it more than a color, just like the black that I have here. Stripes are in various colors. For this project, you need your wool or knitting thread, as we call it here, or ball of yarn. You just need 100 grams, depending on the weight of the thread or wool you are using. You need scissors. You will also need a tape to measure. You need your darning needle, as we'll be weaving in our thread. And very important, you need a stitch marker. This project is done in spiral, and because we'll be working in spiral, it's essential you have a stitch marker. And very important, your crochet hook. We are going for because I'm going to be making my thread double. I'm going to use a 6mm hook. So use hook that matches the yarn you will be using. We are starting with a magic ring. If you don't know how to do a magic ring, I'll provide a link to my tutorial on magic ring in the description box. Into the magic ring, we are going to work 2 chains, but these 2 chains will not count as part of our stitches. Thereafter, we are going to work 8 half double crochet into the ring. I also have a tutorial for the half double crochet. If you are not familiar with that stitch, I will encourage you to go to the link and familiarize yourself with it before continuing the project. On completion of the 8 half double crochet, which we will be referring to as HDC, slip stitch to the beginning stitch. Remember that the 2 chains, we are not going to count them as part of the stitches, so just slip stitch to the first and half double crochet you started with. We are now in round 2. For your round 2, you are still going to start with chain 2, which we will disregard when counting the stitches, and thereafter in each of the previous HDC, which I will refer to as our stitches, you are going to work 2 half double crochet. So at the end of the round, you should be having 16 stitches. We have gotten to the end of round 2. Just like we did in round 1, you are also going to slip stitch to the first beginning stitch for this round, and I'm sure you have 16 stitches. At this point, I want you to take your darning needle. What I want us to do now is to weave in our loose yarn. It is good you do this as the work progresses, so that at the end you will not have too many yarns flying around and you will be discouraged when you see the amount of work you now have to start doing at the end. So we are going to weave up to the next round. I'm just going to bring it up so that by the time we start working the next round, I'm just going to walk over the yarn and it will be well blended. We are now in our 3rd round. You are going to start with chain 2, then 2 half double crochet into the first stitch and 1 half DC into the following stitch. This is the pattern we will be working in for this round. 2 HDC in first stitch, then the next stitch will be 1 HDC, the next one 2 HDC, the next one 1 HDC. But in this round, I will want you to bring out your stitch marker and mark the first stitch you work. This is because from this row on, we are working in a spiral. And what do I mean by spiral? It means we are no longer going to be slip stitching. At the end of the work, you will have a very neat beret, which will be very difficult to know where you started from and where you ended. But if you don't mark the beginning of the stitch, you might get confused, as you will not be able to identify the beginning stitch or the end stitch. If you observe closely, you will see that as I walk along, as I insert my hook, I ensure that the loose yarn that we are carrying along is enclosed, so that by the time I make my half double crochet, the yarn is already enclosed, and by the time we get to the end, everything will be blended. 4 stitches. Here on, just know that while we are increasing, each round will be increasing by 8 stitches. So it's time to commence round 4. Round 4, we are going to work 2 HDC in the first stitch, then 1 HDC in each of the next 2 stitches. This is the pattern we will be following till the end of this round. 2 HDC, 1 HDC in 2, then another one, 2 HDC in 1 stitch. Remember, this is the row where we are starting our spiral. We are not slip stitching, so ensure that your first 2 stitches are not too tight. By the time we get to the 5th, 6th round, your work will even out. So don't allow the work to start curling. Tension should not be too tight for the first 2 stitches. And also remember to use your stitch marker always for the first stitch. It's time for us to now start our round 5. The pattern is basically the same with round 4, and that's how we'll continue until we get to our desired circumference size. So for this round 5, you are going to work 2 HDC in the beginning stitch and 1 HDC in each of the next 3 stitches. 2 HDC, 1 HDC in each of the next 3 stitches. That's how you will continue until you get to the end of the round. Since the pattern is same, I will allow you to work on your own for round 5, round 6, round 7, 8, and 9. And thereafter, round 10, let's compare our work. For round 6, you are going to work 2 HDC, then to be 1 HDC in the next 4 stitches. Remember that for each row, there will be an increase in the number of single stitches you are working on. For row 5, you are going to work 1 HDC in 3 stitches. For row 6, it will just be an increase of 1, your 2 HDC, then 1 HDC in the next 4. Round 7, 2 HDC in 1 stitch, then 1 HDC in the next 5. That's how you continue until round 9, when you are going to have 2 HDC in each of the 7 next stitches. So let's get started. If you are working till now, I say kudos to you. I pray God will give you a perfect beret that you will be very proud of. Now this is what my round 9, at the end of round 9, this is what my work looks like. I expect that your own has increased too. So we are now going to commence round 10, which is still a continuation of the pattern. For round 10, you are going to have 2 HDC in the first stitch, and the next 8 stitches you are going to have 1 HDC, 2 HDC in 1 stitch, 1 HDC in the next 8 stitches. That's for your round 10. And just the same way I allowed you to work, I'm also going to allow you to work up to row 13, when we compare and measure our work to see if we have gotten our desired size. Round 11 will be 2 HDC, 1 HDC in the next 9. Round 12 will be 2 HDC, 1 HDC in the next 10. Round 13 will be 2 HDC, then 1 ADC in the next 11 stitches. So let's get working. Let's get working so that very soon we can put on our berets and see how beautiful it is, how beautiful God has given us talent that we can use to beautify ourselves. Before you continue, let's just measure to see the size of what we have right now. As you can see, this is 9 inches, that's about 23 centimeters. Ordinarily, this would have been enough, but because we are making a slouchy beret, which means it will be loose fitting and relaxed and comfortable for the head, we will continue our work further. The average S circumference for medium adults is 22 inches, and that is the size of beret we are making. Because we are making a loose fitting beret, we are going to add an allowance of 1 to 2 inches. When we divide the 22 by 2, that will give us 11. To that 11, we'll be adding 1 inch to get the size we are aiming at, and that will be 12 inches. I have gone ahead to work 2 more rows in order to get to that 12 inches. So if your work is not yet there, you can add the 2 more rows following the same pattern. Here we are at the end. Let's measure. As you can see, this is already 12 inches, enough for us to begin to shape the beret. Before now, let's have a look at a bigger size that I did, which I wore in the opening of this video. This one is for adult large, more roomy than what we are doing now. And as you can see, this is 13 inches. The average S size for an adult large or male size is 23 to 24. And that's when you divide 24 by 2, that's 12. When I added 1, that's 13. So that's how roomy it is. It all depends on what you want. If you don't want something as big as what we have done now, you can always stop before you get to 12 inches. In that case, you will now jump to the next stage where we are headed to continue the work. The next step is to begin to shape the beret so that it can be usable. What you are going to do now is to work 3 rounds of half double crochet in each of the stitch. 3 rounds, and remember to still be using your stitch marker at the end of each round, for we are still working in a spiral. As you can see, on completion of the 3 rounds, our beret has begun to curve, but this is not enough to give it the shape that will make it wearable. The next stage we are going to now is to begin to decrease. But before the decrease, let's see the circumference we have right now. As you can see, this is about 21 multiplied by 2, that's 42. That's an estimate of what we have right now. We are going to decrease until we get to, say, about 28. We are going to give an allowance of 6 inches. Remember that the edge circumference is about 22 inches. The 6 inches allowance we are going to give it will be reduced by the time we start working the next stage, which is the brim. So now what you are going to do is this. We are going to start reduction. we are going to work about 5-6 rounds, reducing them as we go along. The first round, you are going to work 10 stitches, then you work 2 together. If you don't know how to work 2 half double crochet together, I have a tutorial on it. At the description box, I'm going to provide a link. But meanwhile, watch me as I go along, as you may be able to get it even from what I'm going to show you now. For the decrease, you are going to yarn over as you normally do. Insert the hook, pull your loop through, leaving your 3 loops on the hook. But instead of yarning over and pulling through now, you are going to pull through and you are going to leave those loops right on the hook, yarn over again and insert into the second stitch. Now pull through another loop. What you have now, you have 5 loops on your hook. You are now going to yarn over and pull through all the 5 loops. At the end of the day, you have 1 stitch in place of 2 stitches that you have worked on. It is now time for us to commence the major decrease. We are going to work 5 to 6 rounds. The first round, you work 10 stitches, and the following 2 stitches you work them together. You work another 10 stitches, next 2 work them together. You are going to do that until you get to the end of the first round. You continue the same way. You get to the second round, work, but this time around work 9 stitches, then 2 together, another 9 stitches, then you work 2 together. When you complete that round, go to the third round. The third round, you are going to work 8 stitches before working 2 together. 8 stitches, 2 together. On completion of this third round, you go to the fourth round. The fourth round, you are now reducing. Instead of 8, you are going to work on 7. Work 7 stitches, the following 2 you work them together. Work 7 stitches, the following 2 you work them together. Then you go to round 6, or the next round. This time around, you are going to work 6 stitches, the following 2 you work them together, and from there you still go on. You go on to the next round. The next round, you are going to work 5 stitches and 2 together. When you complete this stage, let's get back to see what you have. Yeah, this is good. We are making appreciable progress. Let's see what the width is now. As you can see, this is 13 inches multiplied by 2, that's about 26 inches. I think this is okay for the size, for the medium adult size. But if you think yours is still wider, you may still work 1 round. That's working 4 stitches, then 2 together. I know you might wonder why I'm saying this 26 inches will be okay. It is because we are still going to work the edging. By the time we are working on the edging, it's going to compact it to the size we want. So right now, if you are okay just the way I am, I will want you to just do a round of half double crochet on all the stitches. It will further compact what we have now. At the end of the round, we are going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch. Here, from here on, we are no longer going to work in spiral. So we are going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch. It is time to commence work on the edging. We are going to work 4 rows for the edging, but this time around we are using the front post half double crochet and back post half double crochet stitches. If you are not familiar with this stitch, I will leave a link in the description box for you to access the tutorial I've made on that one. But meanwhile, you can still follow along. We are going to start with chain 2, but for the 4 rows we will be working on, the chain 2 will not count as part of our stitches. We are only going to use it as a step to commence the work we are doing. So for the first row, you start with chain 2 and work 1 front post half double crochet, just the way I am doing now, into the first stitch. You put your hook instead of the top as we were doing ordinary half double crochet. This time around you are starting from the front to the back to the front, then you pull your loop and pull through. It's going to give it a sort of raised ridge, and at the end the work will be more compacted. While for the back post, you will also be working at the back. So that's the pattern for round 1 of the edging. 1 front post HDC, 1 back post HDC, 1 front post HDC, 1 back post HDC. You do this until the end. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch. Remember, we are not counting the chain 2 as part of our stitch. So row 2 is similar to the round you have finished with. Just ensure that after your chain 2, you are working your front post HDC on the front post HDC of the previous row, while the back post HDC should also be on the back post HDC of the previous row. If peradventure maybe you made a mistake in the previous row, you had 2 front post HDC following one another, follow that sequence so that it will not distort the pattern, and it will still, if you follow the sequence, you will still have something good. So at the end of the second row, do same for the third row. This you can measure to see what you have. It's possible that after the third row, it will have been compact enough to the size that you want. If that be the case, you can stop at the third round. At the end of my round 4, the circumference of the beret is about 21 inches. Perfect for an adult with medium size head. Remember, the beret is a slouchy one, which means it is loose fitting and it should be very comfortable. Slip stitch to the beginning stitch and fasten off your yarn. Ensure you have a long tail left that can be sewn into the beret to make it secured, very, very secured. Now the final finishing, we are going to check to make sure that there are no loose ends. Any loose ends, sew it in. And like here now, I observe that there is a bit of space. Could be that we work two together when we are not supposed to work. Well, there could be reasons for it, but the work is not destroyed. All you need to do is just to take your darning needle and then sew up that place. At the end, everything will blend without it even being obvious that there was an issue. such a good thing that our Father in heaven gave us the same creative ability, the same spirit in Him. But we only be able to appreciate it when you put it into use. Just as we have done now. If you have actually done it, please post your pictures onto our Facebook group. Let's see what you've done. Let's see what you've done, and let's see how you are rocking it. You can see as I'm rocking mine. You can decide to change the posture, the position you put it, whether front, back, whatever. It's your work. It's your handwork. They say the diligent farmer will be the first to eat out of the fruits. You don't need to wait for somebody to appreciate your work before you do. Showcase what you've done and keep coming here, because we continue to post new designs as the Holy Spirit inspires me, as God gave me the ability to do. I will continue to post, and I will be encouraged if you try your hands on it. And also let me see what you've done by posting your pictures or videos in the group. But one important thing, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't just view it. Don't just give me thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. It will encourage me. It will be more beneficial to me when I have subscribers. See you very soon. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. Thanks. And remember, whatever God's give to you is a blessing, no matter how small. Use it by ensuring that whatever work you do with it, you do it perfectly. Do it with all your might. God bless you. Love you. Thank you.